There's a truth most men never face until it's too late. Respect is not something you beg for. It's not even something you explain. It's something you radiate. Women don't measure you by your promises or your poetic words. They measure you by the invisible lines you refuse to cross. They test the strength of your boundaries, not the sweetness of your compliments. And here's the painful twist. Most men don't lose a woman because they stopped loving her. They lose her because they surrendered respect in 1,000 quiet moments, moments they thought didn't matter. But she noticed every one. That ends tonight. Because there are 5 boundaries, 5 unshakable standards that transform how she looks at you. The last one is the hardest to keep, yet once you do, she can never see you the same again. Stay with me, and if you want to live this way from today forward, comment below, I choose respect. Number 1. Never reward disrespect. Every man who has ever lost respect in the eyes of a woman knows this bitter truth. The slide never begins with a dramatic betrayal. It begins in the smallest moments when you allow disrespect to pass unchecked. And once you let that door open, even slightly, it never closes the same way again. The irony is that many men believe ignoring it will preserve harmony. In reality, ignoring it plants the seed of their own replacement. Here's the first and most brutal law of respect. The second you reward disrespect, you signal that your self-worth depends on her approval. And once she feels that, she no longer sees you as the man she needs to earn. She sees you as the man she can use. That shift is silent, invisible, but deadly. And unless you learn how to stop it, you'll repeat the same pattern with every woman you meet. Think about it. Does it matter how long you've been together, how many sacrifices you've made, or how deeply you love her? None of that counts when she senses she can belittle you, ignore you, or mock your values without consequence. She might stay, but she stays for comfort, not respect. She might say she loves you, but her tone betrays her, her eyes expose the truth, and her words, when no one is watching, reveal everything. Disrespect doesn't always arrive as shouting or insults. It hides in constant interruptions. It shows up when she texts other men and then calls you insecure for noticing. It lurks in subtle jokes at your expense, in the cold silence she uses to punish you, in the dismissive shrug when you share your goals. Each of these moments may feel small, but together they cut deep into your dignity. So how do you reverse this? Not through arguments, shouting, or endless explanations. Power is never loud. You reverse it with consequence, calm, direct, emotionless consequence. You say once, "Don't speak to me that way again," and if it happens again, you walk away. No debates, no rage, no repetition. The moment you hold that line, you send a signal more powerful than any speech. I value my standards above your attention. And here's the paradox that most men miss. When you finally stop rewarding disrespect, she doesn't feel unloved, she feels safe. A woman cannot trust a man who cannot protect his own dignity. If he folds at every challenge, she knows he cannot protect her when storms arrive. Strength is not in tolerating disrespect. Strength is in refusing it. Now you might wonder, what if she leaves? Good. If she walks away because you refuse to tolerate disrespect, you've just been liberated from a parasite. That energy is no longer draining you, and space has been created for the woman or the life you truly deserve. This isn't just about women. It's about your boss, your friends, your family. People treat you exactly the way you train them to. And when you allow disrespect, you are teaching the world to undervalue you. Without boundaries, exhaustion is inevitable. The man with no boundaries eventually burns out. He resents everyone, he collapses, or he explodes. But the man who honors himself becomes solid, focused. He builds a life so aligned with who he is that only those who respect him can remain. That's not arrogance, that's survival. In practice, this means doing what 99% of men refuse to do. If she flakes, don't chase. If she mocks your values, don't explain. If she tests you with drama, don't react. Every time you walk away from disrespect, you sharpen your edge. And here's the beautiful twist. When she truly wants to come back, she won't do it with hollow apologies. She will prove it through consistent behavior. But here's the question gnawing at you. How do I stay strong when I feel addicted to her? How do I resist when she is the only woman I've ever loved? The answer is as brutal as it is freeing. If you are addicted to her attention, it's because you've built nothing else in your life worthy of obsession. The cure is not clinging tighter, it's building yourself stronger. Redirect the hunger. Build your body until pain becomes power. Discipline your mind until distraction bows to clarity. Wake earlier than you want to. Run when you crave rest. Lift until your arms ache. That strain becomes strength, and that strength becomes self-respect. Start the business you've postponed. Learn the skill you've ignored. Cut off the friends who drain you. Clean your space until chaos can no longer survive there. Create a personal code and follow it with ruthless precision. When you stop tolerating disrespect from her, you also stop tolerating mediocrity in yourself. That's the turning point. That's when you no longer need respect, you command it. People feel it before you speak. Your presence shifts the room. Your silence carries weight. Your eyes tell the truth before your mouth moves. You become the man others either admire or fear, but never ignore. And here's the haunting part. One day, the woman who used to play games with you will see you again, and she won't even recognize you. Without a word, she'll realize she lost access to something rare, something she can never touch again. That regret will echo louder than anything you could ever say. So never reward disrespect, not once, not ever. Every second you tolerate it is a second stolen from your greatness. Draw the line now. Stand behind it, even if you must stand alone. Because once you do, you rise. You become unshakable. And this is only the beginning. In the next boundary, I'll show you the hidden power that men almost never defend, the one resource more valuable than love, money, or status. Guard it, and she will never see you the same again. Miss it, and everything you built will crumble. Stay with me, because what comes next may change not just your relationships, but your entire life. Number 2, guard your peace. There is one possession more valuable than money, status, or even love. Most men spend their entire lives chasing the wrong treasures, never realizing the real prize. It isn't wealth, admiration, or romance. It's peace. And here's the paradox. Peace doesn't come to you by chance. You don't stumble into it. You must guard it like your survival depends on it, because it does. The man who lacks peace is always on edge. He wakes each morning, pulled in a dozen directions, reacting instead of choosing, performing for people who barely care whether he thrives or collapses. Without peace, he is a puppet to chaos. He texts back instantly, joins every argument, accepts every demand out of guilt, and exhausts himself trying to prove his worth. Piece by piece, he leaks his soul until nothing remains but a hollow mask of who he once was. Women sense it instantly. A man without peace doesn't attract respect, he drains it. His attention is scattered, his time isn't sacred, his presence feels unstable. She doesn't admire him more when he bends to her moods. She feels like she is steering the ship, and no woman respects a man who needs to be led. That's why peace is the ultimate flex. You walk into a room and people feel it. You speak softly and others listen, not because you demand attention, but because your silence carries weight. So how do you guard your peace? First, by designing your life against chaos. Not hiding from it, but deliberately filtering it out. Look at every input, your phone, your relationships, your habits, your calendar, and ask, does this protect or poison my peace? If it poisons, it goes. No second chances, no explanations, just gone. This is why men at peace don't argue. Arguments require you to prove yourself, and a man who knows his value doesn't debate chaos. He doesn't chase, because chasing drags him out of presence. He doesn't scroll endlessly, because every scroll is a decision to numb instead of build. He doesn't sleep in, because each wasted morning whispers to his soul that life isn't urgent. He doesn't talk to everyone, because access to him is sacred. His boundaries require no justification. He says no, and that's the end of it. And yes, people will complain. They'll call you cold or arrogant because they once fed on your availability. Let them talk. While they gossip, you are building. While they speculate, you are growing. They'll wonder what changed, but the answer is simple. You stopped bleeding out your peace to keep others comfortable. Guarding peace is not abstract. It's physical, mental, and spiritual discipline. You wake up early, not to impress anyone, but because the hours before sunrise are a fortress. You read, not to look intelligent, but to remind yourself how small your problems are. You walk alone, not from loneliness, but because peace keeps company with the man who can stand alone without trembling. You train your body, not for six-pack validation, but because discipline in the flesh is war for the soul. You keep your space clean, not to impress a visitor, but because chaos cannot thrive where order rules. This transformation makes you untouchable. The man who owns his peace cannot be manipulated with drama, guilt, urgency, or distraction. Employers trust him, friends respect him, and women crave the calm that surrounds him but can never fully explain. He becomes rare because he cannot be moved at will. Here's a truth most men miss. When a woman creates emotional noise, sudden fights, sharp questions, silent withdrawals, she isn't always trying to hurt you. She's testing your edges, searching for your core. If every time she pokes, you jump, you reveal that there is no center-only reaction. But if you remain still, hold silence longer than her confusion, and answer only when you choose, you communicate a deeper truth. My peace is non-negotiable. At that point, one of two things happens. Either she adapts to your frequency, or she exits, and both outcomes serve you, because the moment you surrender your peace just to keep her, you've already lost yourself. And if you lose yourself, there is no man left to love. What use is affection if the cost is your soul? Do you want to transform your life? Build peace so strong it unsettles those who thrive on chaos. Build peace so real you no longer flinch when they accuse you of changing. Build peace that filters out the wrong people and magnetizes the right ones. The irony is that when you live this way, everything you once chased, validation, respect, affection, begins to chase you, because you've become the rare man who doesn't need the world's attention to feel whole. That peace will heal you. It will sharpen your decisions, reveal your true friends, teach you to love without losing yourself, and create a foundation no betrayal, no loss, no setback can shake. Guard it like gold, because it island, and once you own it, you'll never trade it for chaos again. And remember this, guarding your peace is only step 2. There is another boundary, one most men violate without realizing, and it kills attraction faster than anything else. It isn't about anger, it isn't about silence, it's about how much of yourself you reveal. In the next part, I'll show you why holding back, not hiding, but holding, can make you magnetic in ways words never could. Stay with me, because the next boundary may unlock the tension that keeps desire alive forever. Number 3. Don't share too much. There is a hidden law of attraction most men ignore. Mystery fuels desire. The moment you give it all away, the fire dies. She may say she wants to know everything about you, but that's not the truth. What she actually wants is to sense your depth without being forced to carry it. She wants discovery, not a dump of every wound, fear, and dream. Share too much too soon, and you don't become her man, you become her project. And women don't crave projects. Think about it. Did she respect you more when you unloaded your anxieties? Did she feel closer when you cried about life's unfairness? Or did something subtle shift in her eyes? That quiet moment when she stopped seeing you as her protector and started seeing you as her emotional equal. While that might sound noble, it kills polarity. When she carries your emotional world, she might comfort you, but she no longer desires you. A sacred distance must exist between man and woman, not dishonesty, not coldness. Distance, the space between who she thinks you are and what she still wonders about. That gap is the spark. That's what keeps her leaning forward, asking questions, studying your silence. When you kill the mystery, you kill the tension. And when tension dies, so does desire. This doesn't mean you must be stone. You're human. You bleed, struggle, and doubt. The difference between a respected man and a tolerated man is how he carries those emotions. The respected man feels deeply but moves intentionally. He doesn't collapse under his pain or hand it to her like baggage. He integrates it quietly, steadily, and, if necessary, alone. Oversharing creates clutter. She doesn't know what to do with your emotional flood. Instead of feeling closer, she feels smothered. Instead of admiring your openness, she questions your stability. She pulls away, not out of cruelty, but because instinctively she doesn't want to be your savior. She wants to lean on you. Look around at the men most admired. They rarely broadcast their lives. They reveal glimpses, not blueprints. They offer presence, not explanations. They don't chase intimacy through confession. They don't speak to be understood. They act to be respected. And that respect creates a bond deeper than words. So how do you embody this? Start treating your story like treasure, not a brochure. Let her earn access over time. Let her wonder what drives you. Let her feel the silence and choose to step into it. When she asks, give just enough to spark more curiosity. You're not hiding. You're cultivating polarity. You're protecting the mystery that fuels attraction long after the early days. Most men confuse talking with connecting. They think if she knows everything, she'll never leave. The opposite is true. She leaves because she already knows too much. Nothing left to chase, nothing left to uncover. You become predictable, and predictability is poison to attraction. This isn't manipulation, it's mastery. Emotional mastery, strategic vulnerability. Speaking your truth when it matters, not when you crave validation. Sharing your struggle when it serves your mission, not when you need a shoulder. Revealing your heart in doses that amplify your strength, not replace it. Relatability is overrated. Radiance is rare. Stop trying to always be understood. Hold your ground when she disagrees. Be okay if she doesn't get you right away. That's what builds tension. That's what makes her chase. Your peace is not a group project. Your mission is not a team vote. Your vision is not for public debate. Share it too freely and it dilutes. Overshare your insecurities and they become weapons against you. Speak every thought and you stop leading. You become just another talker. Instead, practice presence. Sit with your pain. Journal your storms. Channel your confusion into action. Build a fortress around your emotional core so strong that only those who earn it may enter. And when they do, you don't flood them with chaos. You show resilience. You don't offload, you reveal. You don't break down, you unfold slowly, like a sunrise. Measured, intentional, beautiful, earned. That is unforgettable. Not because you spoke everything, but because you carried much without making her carry it too. The more you master this, the rarer you become. You're no longer just a man with a story. You're a man with a center. A man who doesn't simply survive but navigates life with calm, with mystery, with a quiet gravity that commands respect. That's the man women crave, the man friends admire, the man who cannot be ignored. This is how you keep her attention. This is how you keep your edge. This is how you stay respected, not just in relationships, but in every room you walk into. And remember, this is only the third boundary. There is another one most men fail, and it destroys respect faster than oversharing ever could. It's not about mystery, it's about mastery of emotion itself. In the next boundary, I'll reveal how the man who refuses to be moved at will becomes unstoppable. Stay with me. What comes next may change the way you see yourself forever. Number 4. No emotional reactivity. Control is not the absence of emotion, it is the presence of mastery. A man who cannot be emotionally moved at will by others has begun to taste true strength. Not because he feels nothing, but because he is no longer enslaved by passing storms inside him. The world thrives on your reactivity. Women test for it. Weak men live in it. The man who remains still in chaos, that man dominates silently. You have seen this. A sudden change in her tone, a sarcastic remark, her withdrawal of attention. Your stomach tightens, your thoughts spiral, your words chase hers like smoke chasing wind. That is reactivity when your inner world bends to her behavior. Once she senses this power, the dynamic corrodes deeply. This is not coldness. It is sovereignty, emotional sovereignty, the ability to feel fully yet remain unshaken. The man who can stand before a testing woman, a questioning boss, or a disrespectful stranger without losing his frame. No outburst, no pleading, no frantic defense. Rooted, present, steady, strength without noise. Women test because they must know if your power is real. If you pass, she relaxes, even melts. In a world of men who fold, the one who does not blink is unforgettable. But you cannot fake this calm. It begins by owning your triggers. Confront the parts that flinch at disapproval, panic at silence, rush to defend motives. Look at them and declare, you don't lead anymore. Instead of obeying impulses, you observe them. In that space between stimulus and response, kings are born. This practice transforms everything. You stop needing the last word. You stop defending your character to people unqualified to judge. You begin treating your attention like gold. If someone wants it, they must earn it. The provocateurs grow frustrated because they can no longer move you. The respectful draw nearer because calm attracts clarity, and clarity attracts all that chaos cannot. You talk less, move slower, notice more. You wait, you watch. You no longer react to shifting moods, silences, or indirect games. You realize her emotions are hers. If you can be the container for her waves without drowning, she will trust you more than any man, not because you saved her, but because you never lost yourself. This is the superpower most men never claim. Weak men confuse emotional slavery with passion. They fight pointless battles, burn bridges over bruised egos, argue endlessly to defend fragile pride. You step above it. You leave chaos beneath you because it is beneath you. You will face meetings where your ideas are attacked, and you will smile. A friend will betray you, and you will vanish like oxygen from fire. Rumors will swirl, and you will remain silent, because truth never panics. You will be ghosted, rejected, overlooked, and still rise with purpose. No emotional reactivity means you stop surrendering the wheel of your life to every passing feeling. You begin steering with discipline, and that discipline builds your kingdom one boundary at a time. Stay with me, because in the next boundary, I'll reveal the principle that fuses all the others together, the secret force that makes a man not just respected, but untouchable. Number 5. Always be willing to walk away. Too many men remain in places that crush their spirit, jobs that drain them, friendships that disrespect them, relationships that strip them of masculine edge. They stay because of fear, fear of loneliness, fear of starting over, fear of being judged, and so they shrink, they force a smile, they whisper, "It's not that bad." Slowly, they vanish not just in the eyes of others, but in their own reflection. The man who dares to walk away from anything that insults his soul is different. He terrifies mediocrity, he magnetizes respect, he does not stay out of comfort, he stays only when it aligns with his standard. The moment it doesn't, he leaves. Women sense this. They know when you cling out of addiction versus when you remain because she truly adds peace, growth, and purpose. The first type of man gets tested endlessly. The second type inspires her best, because she knows disrespect ends the connection instantly. Walking away does not make you cold, it makes you loyal to yourself. It means saying, "I love you, but I love my mission more. I love my values more. I love the man I am becoming more." When you live this way, people either rise to your level or exit. Your standard becomes the filter. And the true transformation comes not while holding on, but in the silence after letting go. That silence births the stronger version of you, the one who never begs, never chases, never tolerates disrespect again. And here's the truth. Once you master this boundary, you unlock the final key to masculine freedom. In the next step, I'll reveal how walking away doesn't just change relationships, it reshapes destiny. The instant you place self-respect above comfort, everything shifts. Not just in your relationships, not just in your confidence, but in the way you walk through life itself. The version of you who begged for attention disappears. A new man rises. He no longer hunts for approval. He sets standards. He no longer collapses when pressure mounts. He sharpens in silence. He does not plead to be understood. He chooses to be undeniable. You were never born to crawl for love, attention, or acceptance. You were born to move with power quietly, steadily, carrying the unshakable truth that respect is not requested, it is designed. If you feel that spark igniting inside, protect it. Do not let it fade. Anchor it deep. This moment is not the conclusion, it is the beginning of a new era for you, an era where you refuse to tolerate less than the man you were created to be. If this message struck you, subscribe to the channel, share it with a brother who needs to hear it, and comment below, "I choose respect over validation." Because when you stand with this movement, you don't just fuel growth here, you give another man the words he was starving to hear. And in the next chapter, I will show you how respect evolves into unstoppable influence,